All right, hello and welcome to 5 Minutes with Sean, maybe 10. So today is an interesting topic because for those of you who don't know, I've sat on pretty much every side there is to sit within the automotive space. So I've worked directly with the OEM, I've worked on a large consulting contract, I've worked in stores, I've worked as an independent consultant, I've worked most positions there is within a store. So it's kind of what brings me to this unique point of view on our business, right? So today's discussion is you and your OEM, you know what I mean? That relationship, or in this case, you, your OEM, and digital marketing. I'm not going to get into the trunk monies of the world and all the other things that go with the OEM relationship that you may or may not have frustration and or questions about. I want to focus specifically today on digital marketing and kind of the oversight, the engagement, the waste of resources, kind of some of the things that go into what I've seen with this relationship with the OEM. So if we start at the very beginning, right, and we start talking about this idea that the OEM controls your website choice in some cases, which, by the way, any OEM out there who might be listening, if you're still a single website provider setup, if all you allow your dealers is one provider, you are doing your dealers and yourself a gigantic disservice, because the one provider in most cases isn't always the best provider. Offering people multiple opportunities is always best, not only for yourself but for the client. And don't forget, at the OEM side, the client truly is that of the dealer, right? So here we go. We're starting at the very basics. We're talking about what's allowed, what's not allowed in the website and or marketing world. Now, what happens with a lot of OEMs is they will vet out products. It's fine. It's great. They will put those products, into the pipeline for their dealers to sign up for. They will subvent them in some cases with co-op. I always love when a vendor leads with it's co-opable. Perhaps you don't know how co-op works. I have to sell cars to fill the piggy bank. The piggy bank just doesn't open up and is full of money for me to spend on whatever I please. And so the OEM doesn't do a great job of wrangling in those products once approved. Once approved, it's kind of run and run, right? And if there are issues, they have to be bubbled up. If they're not bubbled up, then no one knows. So my issue is that the oversight they have or the guidelines they start using are misguided. We focus so much on logos, words, font, on social, on our website. It's such a waste of resources. It truly is. If you really want to look into what you're doing, and what your dealers are doing from an OEM side, dig into their search, dig into their PPC, dig into their display advertising. Make sure they're not going across the boundaries that you as the manufacturer have set for them. So many times I'll be sitting in a store, we'll be talking with the dealership, and they'll say, okay, well, let's pull up my store, and I'll do a search, and all of a sudden, an outside PMA store shows up in paid search. And I always wonder, why does that happen? Well, it's because you're too busy looking at the logo and the font to pay attention to what matters. And that happens far too frequently with the OEM dealer relationship, which, as I said, I'm very familiar with both sides of it. As a dealer, not a fan. As an OEM, probably working directly with an OEM, still not a fan because I was a dealer. And a lot of what you find at the OEM are non-dealer people. And so it's this weird kind of dichotomy that happens where it's like, well, you're going to tell me what to do, but you've never done it. And those who can't do teach, or that sort of saying. So, I hate to get into that part of it because I'm already getting off track, but it does play into this relationship. So the digital guidelines really aren't being enforced or looked at the way they should be. That's again, my opinion. Now from there, start looking at your results, right, in paid search. What you'll find is tier 1 and sometimes tier 2 OEM sites are in the first of the 4 slots. Now, this is, in a general term, search making sense. That high funnel, that makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me is to find those websites in low searches, like 2017 Nissan Maxima near me. That search should be dealer driven. Now, the OEM will say, well, we're doing it to make sure because we don't know if our dealers do it. go back to point A. Then stop looking at logos, stop looking at fonts, and start paying some real attention to what your dealers are doing. But be careful how you advise them, because I don't know that you know what you're doing. Some of you on the OEM side bring in the outside companies, right? Some of the big agencies to sit in the middle. And nothing against those agencies, but it isn't always the best fit between agency, OEM, and dealer. So that's speaking today. I'm speaking from the dealer side of frustration, because my life is lived in dealerships. Every week I am in a different dealership. And so what I hear, right, is I hear these issues. Right now, one of the big issues that I've heard is a manufacturer is now doing PPC to help their dealers. Well, that's all well and good, but the dealer is also doing PPC. Now, where is the discussion? Well, from firsthand knowledge, I can tell you there is none. And that is jacked up. We at CarBiz had to initiate the conversation between the OEM search specialist and the specialist who was doing the search at a store level to ensure that one, in this case, what we did was break it up by hours of day, right? So one was doing paid search from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The other was doing 9:01 or 6:01 p.m. to 8:59 a.m. Now, before this got figured out, we had seen some higher costs on our per click than we were used to, than we wanted to see. And what we found was that we were competing with our OEM, someone who was trying to help me. Now, again, I understand the OEM sentiment, but like most things they roll out, it is without actual process behind it. And this is the bigger issue. None of your dealers would have a problem with you helping if you first had a plan to help, B, talk with them about how you're going to do it, and C, execute a joint plan together, right? That's what's happening here. We're not paying attention to the store level. I had another OEM representative tell a dealer he needed to start updating his meta and description tags while increasing and basically, updating his SEO. Now, when the dealer brought me that, sales manager brought me that topic, right? Here's what he said. Sean, a rep told me I got to do this. How do I start? You start by not doing that. Okay, first of all, you have a company, in this case, who is doing SEO for you. They're already doing this. That's the issue. See, the manufacturer rep didn't ask the additional question. Didn't say to him, hey, sales manager, do you have someone whose focus it is SEO in the store, or is it an outside source? Sales manager said, you know what? I'm pretty sure we have an outside source. Let's connect the two so that they can work together. Not happening. Those conversations are not taking place. Another example of OEM misguidance and oversight is currently there is a couple of brands up here, they're sister stores in Wisconsin, and they have been told by their OEM to spend 50% or better of their in-month PPC budget on two vehicles, one a brand new vehicle to the model line and another a completely updated and renovated vehicle to the model line. The problem here is that it's a wasted term. And the OEM said, well, we're spending millions to promote it. You need to spend what you can. They told the whole zone that. So now the whole zone is bidding on the same key terms. My owner, who has sister stores, is now driving up his bid costs on his sister stores. And once you jump into the actual analytics of these searches, the results are pathetic. Okay, the click-through rate sucks in most cases. Engagement post-click sucks because it isn't what the dealer should be doing. That is a high funnel issue that should be taken care of from the OEM. As a matter of fact, if the OEM was doing its job correctly, what it would have said to its dealer was, Mr. Dealer, these two vehicles do not need to show up in any of your paid search. We are handling it. We will take it to our tier 2 site. They will pick the dealer nearest them. We will move on with their lives. But instead, they're wasting everybody's money. Now, guys, I'm up against the clock because I've made a promise to you to keep it under 10 minutes. But what I would tell you is make sure you are communicating with your OEM representative on every single dollar spent. It is the most important thing you will do, because if they start to do it or they get a hair up there behind it, they want to do it their way, it will end up screwing you in the long run. So thank you guys so much for the time. As always, you can find me, Sean, S-E-A-N, at CarBiz Done Better. Direct cell phone, 262-278-0157. Otherwise, make it a great day, and thanks, as always, for listening.